Slight change in plans. Instead of drilling a hole in the frame, I will weld on a piece of flat bar with a hole in it, because if I put a hole up here even close to the bottom, it's going to give me less depth with my already small discs, and I don't want to sacrifice any digging depth. So I'm going to put a little extender. I'm going to weld a bore on right here, and it's going to have a hole in it, and the axle, so to speak, will go through there. So I don't want the hole to be too large, and I have a 5/16 inch bit and the rod is 5/16, but I want to see, sometimes when you drill a hole it actually comes out a little bigger than you think. So I have my handy dandy calipers right here. Let's get in a good spot. I'm going to go across, find the true diameter. Right at 5/16. Yeah, right at 5/16 right there, that first mark on the left. Now, without moving the calipers, let's see how this fits. Oh yeah, look, fits with a little bit of play. So my drill bit is a hair larger than the rod, so that'll be perfect. That way I don't have to drill the next bigger hole, which to me would be a little bit too big. I'd like to keep it snug. Oh look, a blue-tailed skink right at my feet. I made a video about one of these guys. I wonder if he's the same one. What's up, buddy? Look how bright blue his tail is. Cool creatures. One cool thing I learned recently from watching this old Tony, very cool YouTube channel by the way. If you're patient and like details with metalworking, this guy does some amazing stuff. But he pointed out that the tip of a larger drill bit is never all the way pointed. See that? Look at that flat chisel. That will do no cutting. That is why you need a pilot hole, and at least a pilot hole, and maybe step up to multiple sizes when you're drilling a larger hole, because the smaller bit is almost a perfect point down there, so it'll cut through fine, and that will remove material where this unsharp tip on the larger bit would have been, and it would have just burned up and not cut anything away. More good tips: keep a set of good new higher quality drill bits for drilling metal, and lubricate your work when drilling metal. Also, a good fresh hacksaw blade makes all the difference in the world. Three inches from the center. Oh, that's a nice one. I am getting excited. Starting to come together. Check out that rod. The washer welded on the end. Threads on this side for a washer and a nut. I ground down the corners of the square tubing so that the blades fit in. And I think I can angle the blades like that a little bit and weld them on. They look further apart though than I thought they would be. And this is the small section. Oh, that's why. There's going to be about 1.5 inches here and here. The blades will be closer together. Forgot about that. So another thing changed when I decided to put this bracket on instead of drilling a hole through here. That gave me 1.5 inches more here and on the other end. So I'm going to have to put some spacers. But the other thing that I didn't calculate for at the beginning was a little reinforcement push bar to go right here. So probably the same material here is what I'll use. I'll drill another hole in the end that's this big, and it'll just go between the middle section and the end sections, and it'll go like this all the way to here, and I'll weld it on here. So it'll be a strengthener so that this just doesn't flex backwards as a drive. Yeah. Some of you may have noticed the error of my ways. I thought somehow I could tilt the wheels on their axle like this, give them an angle to represent the angle that most plows are at. But no, that's silly. Then I just have a wobbly wheel, you see? The wheel would just wobble like that. I don't know what I was thinking. So my axle has to actually be at an angle. So I move this pad eye from here to here. So it won't be lined up with that one like I first had it. So that'll give me an angle. That way the discs are going through the ground like they're going through the ground like this instead of straight. So they plow up a wider patch instead of just plowing up a bunch of skinny straight lines. Well, here is the final dry layout. I decided to add these two larger blades I had. I don't think it'll make much difference, and I would have had to put everything pretty far apart. They're already still far apart, but I'm just gonna have to go with this. So now I have 12 blades on there, and this should be the way they lie. Just need to weld them on. So it is at an angle, but I propped up this foot to help the axle be more horizontal so that the blades sit right. And I thought in the future, if I want to be more aggressive with the plow, I could add another pad eye down here and put it at an even more steep angle, and then each disc will cut a wider path because it's like a calligraphy pen on edge like this instead of just a fine tip. We'll see how it goes. So guess what happened yesterday? Ran out of wire. Ah! Stay tuned for part 2 of the